Well, it is Saturday, June 7th, 2025. And again, I'll be reading from the United Church of Christ Daily Devotional, um, reflecting upon this Christian text in a way that gives me pause, anyways, to think about how I live my life in this day, and not specifically speaking of it from a Christian perspective, but simply how it impacts me and the thoughts it generates in me. And this can be done with really any kind of sacred scripture of any faith tradition. And in my mind, that's really what should be done with those texts. The devotion for today that I'll be reading is entitled Trash Talk, written by Kaji Dosha. Kaji bases the devotion upon Philippians chapter 3, verse 8b, as translated by Wilda C. Gaffney in her book in Year A. For his sake I have suffered loss of all things and regarded them as trash, in order that I may gain Christ. And then Kaji writes, a lot of people have a special word for certain people or behaviors. Trash. I think it's harsh. But how many behaviors, yours or someone else's, have you called garbage? Paul's words to the Philippians reframe the idea. He's not calling people trash. He's calling his own self-righteousness, the crave of status and boasting of accomplishments, trash. Bag it up, he says. Offer it to God's growing compost pile. In my house, we try to practice a rule. When something new comes in, something we have must go. No buying more hangers or expanding storage space. Just make room. It's a spiritual practice, really. Letting go of what we cling to, especially when it no longer serves us. Paul says resurrection comes not in accumulation, but in release. That project draining your soul, that relationship built on resentment, that identity you made up to survive but no longer need, let it go. What you'll gain instead, peace, purpose, a closer walk with God, is never trash. That is your most precious treasure. And Kaji's prayer. Compost my pride, O God, trash my shame. Make room in me for what is good, right, and true. Excuse me. A couple thoughts I had in reading this for myself was how much we cling on to physically in our world, and thinking that the accumulation of things will somehow make us happy, but in the end it just kind of makes us miserable when we do that in the long run, because we're overwhelmed with stuff and as it accumulates all around us. And then metaphorically also as well, that we accumulate stuff, things that happen to us, slights that we've perceived, injuries, moral injuries that we've survived, all accumulate within us and in a way form us, sometimes not in a good way. And we sometimes have difficulty letting go of those things, hanging on to them as if our identity is so fragile that we wouldn't exist without them. But the real resurrection comes in letting go of those things that are holding you back from doing what you were really intended to do and what your purpose in life is. And more importantly, I think, building community. Recognizing that we are part of an integrated whole and that we belong together and we belong with and for one another. And we use our gifts and talents not just for our own accumulation, our own benefit, but for the benefit of the world and the good in the world and the good of creation and those around us. Hanging on to stuff can keep us from becoming everything that we were meant to be. And it really is resurrection when we can let go of those things that are holding us back. Those are kind of my thoughts for the day. Maybe you'll have something different. Maybe it's given you something to think about, to chew on, to consider letting go of in your life, both physically perhaps and metaphorically, and moving forward. I guess it also makes me think of therapy in a way, is a way of helping us unpack the things that we're carrying getting rid of those things that we no longer need to carry, and for those things that we are still have time or need time to work through and digest, repack it in a way that we can take it out and acknowledge that it is part of us, but it no longer controls us. Anyway, my thoughts for the day. Hope it's given you something to think about, and hope to talk to you again soon.